Hello, everyone. The subject of the frozen Russian assets has come up again. And I don't have a problem with the subject, I have a problem with the implementation. How many times over the last 3 years it's been discussed to just let Ukraine have frozen Russian assets? Because remember, it wouldn't put any strain on the country where the assets were frozen. It wouldn't mean any tax increases. It wouldn't mean taking away from any programs from anywhere. It's extra money that's just sitting there. Why not just let Ukraine have it? So in this case, we're talking about Russian assets frozen by the United Kingdom, France, and Germany. And my question to them is, what is taking you so long? Because these three countries specifically have stated many times that Ukraine needs help, and they have helped with weapons and with military training, etc. But these three countries also have very strong ultra-right elements who are slowly creeping their way to power, who oppose the aid to Ukraine. So I think just getting some progress with letting Ukraine have frozen Russian assets can pacify both sides. The side that supports Ukraine and the side that says, no, my people first. Because that money has nothing to do with whatever country it's at. It's just sitting there. So I'm like, just figure it out, people, and let's put it to work. Putin is trying to distract everybody from the shitty situation with Russian economy by blasting the Nobel Peace Prize decision and speaking out in support of Trump. Because, of course, they've had a falling out recently, and Trump started saying that he's thinking about maybe possibly letting Ukraine have the Tomahawk missiles. And for those of you who have commented, there's no way, because Taco, Trump always chickens out. Yeah, there's no way he's actually going to let Ukraine have Tomahawk missiles. But, that's his way to fill the air with words. And so Putin, to show, you're still my friend, basically said that Trump should have had Nobel Peace Prize instead of Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado. And the most ironic thing is that Putin said that there have been cases where the committee has awarded the Nobel Peace Prize to people who have done nothing for peace. Tell me, what has Trump done for peace? In addition to basically failing spectacularly in his promise to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours, which was a stupid promise to begin with, he had brought war to the American soil by dispatching American military to hunt down American citizens. And there is a huge question about those Venezuelan boats, because so far there has been no proof that those were militant drug dealers in those boats, as has been claimed by the administration. In terms of global position, in terms of safety inside and outside the country, the United States is a lot worse now than it was a year ago. So tell me, what has Trump done to earn Nobel Peace Prize? I think the two of them basically are just pissed off that the Peace Prize went to a woman who spearheaded the resistance to an authoritarian regime in her country. Can't have that. And of course, anything spoken by a man whose opponents keep disappearing mysteriously and committing suicide should be taken with a grain of salt. Since the beginning of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, 38 Russian tycoons have died mysteriously. Putin said it's some kind of a weird, absurd wave of suicide. Those windowsills in Russia are damn slippery, I tell you. Speaking of resistance, 800 more Russian citizens were told to leave Latvia by mid-October because they refused to follow Latvia's requirements for living there. Basically, they don't want to learn Latvian language. Now, while it's true that Latvia had tightened its requirements, if you look at the requirements themselves, it's not anything unreasonable. So, Russian citizens must obtain EU long-term resident status, perfectly reasonable, since Latvia is part of the EU. Demonstrate Latvian language proficiency at the A2 level, and pass a national security check by a certain date. So these people failed to do so. Compared to the US immigration requirements and process, this is nothing. This is peanuts. Basically, all they have been asked to do is just integrate and learn the language. That's it. And they couldn't be bothered to even do that little bit those Russians asked to leave. They believe that they should be entitled to continue to live in Latvia because once upon a time, Latvia was part of the Soviet Union. Kick them out. Also, speaking of resistance, Ukraine continues its campaign against Russia's war-feeding oil industry by striking yet another oil refinery 1,400 kilometers from the front. That's about 900 miles away from the front line. So this particular refinery is located in Bashkortostan, and once again, by siphoning so much of its oil and gas resources into its army, Russia had turned its own oil and gas refineries, storehouses, distribution centers into military objects. Finally, this piece is on the Kyiv Independent website, and this is something that is very relatable to those of us inside and outside Ukraine. Basically, as the war continues, all of the places that we knew, all of the places associated with childhoods, youth, college days, etc., are being systematically destroyed. And this is what this article talks about. I can relate because the garden my family used to have outside of the city has been bombed out early in the war, and that is now where the front line is. We used to grow some pretty amazing apricots there, among other things. Lots of fond memories there. The seaside towns we used to go to with my dad in the summer, a lot of them are now military bases. The cafe in the city where I grew up in Zaporizhia, where we used to go when we managed to scrape up enough pocket money to actually have coffee at a cafe like grown-ups, has been bombed out. And that is what it's like. It's not just lives lost, although of course that is most important. It's not just businesses lost, home lost, it's also memories lost irretrievably. More to come.